My name is Lily. I am 29 years old. I live in Savannah, Georgia. I always loved this city. It's warm, quiet, and full of charm. I thought I had a perfect life. I had a good job, a nice home, and a man who said he loved me. His name was Caleb. He was an architect. He was smart, kind, and very handsome. We met 2 years ago at a friend's birthday party. He told me I had a nice smile. I felt shy, but I smiled back. After that day, we started talking more and more. Caleb made me laugh. He called me every day. He sent flowers to my office. He took me to nice restaurants. I thought I was lucky. He said sweet things to me all the time. After 6 months, he asked me to move in with him. I said yes. We looked for a house together. We picked one with white walls and big windows. I loved it. I thought it was our dream home. He said we would be happy there. He said we would have a family one day. I believed him. A year later, Caleb asked me to marry him. He gave me a gold ring with a small diamond. I cried and said yes. I told my family. I told my friends. Everyone said we looked perfect together. I felt like I was in a dream. We started planning the wedding. I bought a white dress. He picked a gray suit. We chose flowers, food, music. We were happy, or so I thought. One weekend, Caleb said he had to go to Atlanta for work. He often had to travel, so I did not ask many questions. But this time felt different. He left on Friday morning and didn't call me all day. I sent him a message. He did not reply. That never happened before. On Saturday, I called again. He said he was busy with meetings. His voice sounded cold. I felt something was wrong, but I didn't know what. That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart felt heavy. I kept thinking, maybe I'm just worried for no reason. Maybe he's just tired. I closed my eyes and tried to rest. On Sunday morning, I went to get coffee. I passed by a small cafe near our house. Then I saw something that stopped me cold. Caleb was there. He was with a woman. She was holding his hand. He was smiling at her. Not just smiling. He was looking at her the way he used to look at me. I stood there for a few seconds. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I wanted to run, but my legs didn't move. I didn't know what to do. I turned around and walked home fast. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. When Caleb came home later that night, I was waiting. He walked in like nothing happened. He kissed my cheek and asked how my day was. I stared at him. "Who is she?" I asked. My voice was low. He looked confused. "Who?" "The woman at the cafe." His face changed. He didn't speak at first. Then he said, "It's not what you think." I laughed. "You were holding her hand. You smiled at her. That's not work." He sat down and put his hands on his knees. "Lily, I didn't want you to know like this." I felt my chest hurt. "So it's true?" He looked at the floor. "Yes." "How long?" I asked. He took a deep breath. "Almost a year." I stood up. My legs felt weak. My eyes were full of tears. "A year? We're getting married in 2 weeks." I didn't plan it, he said. It just happened. I felt sick. My hands were cold. My face was wet with tears. You lied to me, I said. Every single day. I didn't want to hurt you, he said. But you did, I whispered. You broke everything. He tried to come near me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. That night, I slept alone. He stayed in the guest room. In the morning, I packed his clothes and told him to leave. He didn't say much. He just looked sad and walked out. I canceled the wedding. I called the venue, the band, the florist. I told my parents. I told my friends. Some were kind. Some asked too many questions. Some friends took Caleb's side. They said I was too cold. They said I was too quick to judge. I didn't care. I stayed in the house. It felt empty now. The walls felt too white. The rooms too quiet. I cried every night. I cried in the shower. I cried in the kitchen. I cried in the bed we chose together. Every room had a memory. His shoes were still by the door. His jacket still hung in the closet. I couldn't throw them away. Not yet. My heart wasn't ready. Some days I didn't eat. Some days I didn't leave the bed. The sun came in through the window, but I didn't feel its warmth. The house felt cold. I felt cold. And worst of all, he didn't call. He didn't say sorry again. He didn't try to come back. He just disappeared, like we never happened. I wanted answers. I wanted to scream, but all I got was silence. Every morning felt the same. I woke up, looked around, and remembered I was alone. The wedding dress still hung in the closet. I could not touch it. I just stared at it sometimes and cried. I had dreamed of walking down the aisle. I had dreamed of saying I do. Now all of that was gone. The hardest part was not the pain. It was the silence. Caleb didn't call. He didn't text. He didn't explain. He didn't even say goodbye. That silence felt like a knife. I wanted to scream into the phone. I wanted to ask, "Why did you do this?" But I knew it wouldn't change anything. I tried to go back to my old life, but it didn't feel the same. I went to work. I smiled at people. I did my job, but inside, I felt empty. I came home to the house we picked together, and everything reminded me of him. The couch, the cups, the way the door creaked when it closed. It all spoke his name. One day, I saw a couple holding hands on the street. The girl looked happy. She leaned her head on his shoulder. I looked away quickly, but my chest hurt. I used to be like her. I used to smile like that. I used to believe in forever. I deleted old pictures from my phone. There were so many of them. Caleb smiling, Caleb cooking, Caleb laughing. Each photo was a lie. Each photo broke my heart all over again. But I couldn't delete all of them. Not yet. A part of me still wanted to believe the good memories were real. Some nights, I sat by the window and watched the streetlights. The city looked peaceful, but my mind was loud. I kept thinking, What did I miss? Were there signs? Did he ever really love me? Or was it all just a game? One evening, I saw his car outside the house. My heart jumped. I stood still, waiting. But he didn't come to the door. After a few minutes, the car drove away. I didn't know if it was him. Maybe it was someone else. But I wanted it to be him. I wanted him to say something. Anything. I just wanted to feel seen again. Days turned into weeks. I stopped answering calls from friends who stayed close to Caleb. I didn't want to hear excuses. I didn't want to hear, maybe he was confused or people make mistakes. I wanted truth, not comfort. And the truth was, he lied. He cheated. And he left. I started taking walks in the evening. I didn't walk far, just around the block. I passed by the small cafe where I saw him with her. I couldn't help but look inside every time. I didn't see them again, but that moment stayed with me. It lived in my bones. It lived in my steps. At the grocery store, I bumped into an old friend. Her name was Claire. She had helped me with the wedding plans. She looked at me with soft eyes. "Lily," she said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know." I didn't know what to say. I just nodded. "If you ever need to talk," she said, "I'm here." I thanked her. I wanted to cry, but I held it in. I was tired of crying in public. That night, I sat on the couch and thought about my future. I had to make a choice. I could keep breaking a little more every day, or I could try to start over. I decided to move his things out of the house. I took a box and started with his books, then his shirts, his shoes. I placed them all in the box. I didn't cry this time. I just felt quiet. I found a picture of us on the beach. We were both laughing. The wind was in my hair. I looked so happy. I stared at it for a long time. Then I put it in the box too. When the box was full, I closed it and left it by the door. I told myself I would give it to a friend later. I didn't want anything of his in my home anymore. The next morning, I opened all the windows. I let the light in. The house still felt heavy, but a little less. I made myself breakfast. I sat at the table and ate slowly. It was the first time in weeks I didn't cry in the morning. I still thought about him. I still missed him. But I also started to miss myself. The girl who smiled, who believed in love, who danced in the kitchen. I wanted to find her again. That day, I walked by the park near our house. I sat on a bench and watched children play. A little girl ran to her mom and gave her a flower. The mom smiled and hugged her. It was a small moment, but it warmed my heart. I stayed there for a long time, just watching people live their lives. I thought, maybe I can live mine too. Maybe, slowly, I can heal. Maybe one day, this pain will not feel so big. That night, I wrote a message to myself on my phone. Just 6 words. You are strong. You will heal. I read it again and again before I went to sleep. I knew it was just a start, but it was a step, and for the first time in a long time, I slept without tears. The days grew warmer. Spring came early that year. Flowers bloomed outside my window, but inside I still felt cold. I was better than before, but not whole. Some mornings were easier, some were not. But I kept moving. I kept breathing. That was enough for now. I started changing small things in the house. I moved the couch. I painted the bedroom wall light blue. I bought new pillows. It was not much, but it helped. The space began to feel more like mine, less like ours. One Saturday, I went to a market downtown. I needed fresh air. I walked past the fruit stands, listened to street music, and tried to enjoy the moment. That's when I saw her. She was standing near the flower stall, the same woman from the cafe. She was alone this time, holding a red rose. My heart stopped. I didn't want her to see me, but it was too late. Our eyes met. She looked surprised, but not afraid. She stepped closer. "Are you Lily?" she asked. I didn't speak. I just nodded. "I'm sorry," she said softly. I looked at her face. She was young, pretty, but her eyes looked tired, like she had cried too, maybe more than me. "I didn't know about you," she said. "Not until the end." I didn't know what to say. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to yell. But all I felt was sadness. She wasn't the problem. He was. "You loved him too," I said. She nodded. "I did. He told me he wasn't with anyone. He said he was single. We started seeing each other. He was kind at first, but after a while, he changed." My chest felt tight. Her voice was shaky. I could see she was still hurting. "When I found out about you," she said, "I asked him to be honest. He told me you were just a friend, but something felt wrong." "So you stayed?" I asked. "I left," she said. 3 weeks ago." 3 weeks ago. That was right after I ended things with him. So she had left too. He lost both of us. Maybe he deserved that. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because I know how it feels," she said. "To be lied to be made small, to lose yourself." I looked down at the ground, then back at her. "Do you miss him?" "Sometimes," she said. "But I miss myself more." We stood in silence for a moment. The sun warmed my back. I felt something shift inside me. I didn't hate her. I didn't need to. We were both fooled, both hurt, and now, both free. "Take care," she said, and walked away. I watched her go. I took a deep breath. Then I turned and walked home. That night, I thought about what she said. I miss myself more. Those words stayed with me. I thought about the things I used to love. Reading before bed, listening to music while cooking, laughing at silly jokes. I had lost all of that. It was time to find it again. The next day, I made a list in my mind. Not a list of goals, just small things. Go for a walk, cook something new, watch a movie, smile once. I started with a walk. I put on my shoes and walked by the river. The air was cool and fresh. The water sparkled under the sun. I passed a group of people painting on canvas. One of them smiled and waved. I smiled back. In the evening, I made pasta and played music. Old songs I loved, songs that made me dance around the kitchen. I didn't dance yet, but I hummed along. That was enough. Days passed. I started sleeping better. I laughed at a movie one night. A real laugh. It felt strange at first, like my body forgot how. But it came back. One afternoon, I got a call from Claire, the friend I saw at the store. "Let's get coffee," she said. "Just a short catch-up." I agreed. We met at a small cafe downtown. I was nervous at first, but she made me feel calm. "I've missed you," she said. "We all have." I nodded. "It's been hard." "I know," she said. "But you look stronger." I didn't know if I was strong, but I was still here, still standing. That had to mean something. Claire told me about her work, her dog, her trip to the mountains. I listened and smiled. It felt good to talk about something else, something normal. As we left the cafe, she touched my arm. "You didn't deserve what happened," she said. "I know," I replied, and for the first time, I believed it. That night, I stood by the window again. The city lights blinked far away. I closed my eyes and whispered, "You're going to be okay." It wasn't a wish this time. It was a promise. 3 months had passed. The house felt different now. It was still the same place, same walls, same doors, but it didn't feel like his anymore. It was mine. I opened the windows every morning. I changed the curtains. I filled the rooms with soft light and quiet music. Slowly, the space felt warm again. One morning, I found a box in the back of the closet. It had some old wedding things, guest cards, ribbons, the shoes I planned to wear. I sat on the floor and looked at them. I didn't cry this time. I just stared. Those things didn't hurt anymore. They felt like pieces from another life, a life I no longer wanted. I packed the box and put it outside for donation. I didn't need it. I didn't want to carry that weight anymore. Later that week, Claire invited me to a small event in the park. It was a local art day with music, food, and painting. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go, but she said, "It will be good for you. Just come." So I did. The park was full of people. Kids ran around with ice cream. Older couples sat on benches holding hands. I walked slowly, breathing in the smell of grass and summer. There were paintings on display. I stopped at one that showed a woman standing alone in the rain. She wasn't crying. She just looked calm. I stared at it for a long time. Something about her felt familiar. "She looks strong," a voice beside me said. I turned and saw a man with light brown hair and soft eyes. He was wearing a blue shirt and holding a cup of coffee. "Yes," I said. "She does." "I'm Tom," he said. "Lily," I replied. We talked for a few minutes. Nothing deep. Just the painting, the weather, the music. He was kind, and his voice was calm. He didn't ask me questions I wasn't ready to answer. "Want to grab a coffee?" he asked. I paused. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I was ready, but I also didn't want to say no to life anymore. "Sure," I said. We walked to the coffee stand and sat on a bench. We talked about books and music. He told me he worked in a library. He liked quiet places, like me. "I like your name," he said. "It's simple and pretty." "Thank you," I said, smiling. I didn't tell him about Caleb. Not that day. I just let myself enjoy the moment. After we finished our drinks, he looked at me. "It was nice meeting you." "You too," I said. He gave me a small piece of paper with his number. "If you ever want to talk more, just call." I held the paper in my hand. Okay. When I got home, I didn't call him right away. I wasn't sure what I felt, but I put the paper on the fridge, just in case. The next few days were quiet. I cleaned the house, read books, and listened to music. I kept thinking about Tom, his voice, his smile, his calm energy. It didn't make me nervous. It made me feel safe. One evening, I sat at the kitchen table and looked at the paper. Then I picked up my phone and called him. "Hi," I said when he answered. "Lily," he said, sounding happy. "I'm glad you called." We talked for an hour, about small things. He made me laugh. I didn't feel heavy when I spoke to him. I felt light. We started meeting once a week. Always simple things. A walk in the park, a short coffee, a chat about life. He never pushed me to share more, but over time, I did. One evening, I told him about Caleb. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "I'm sorry you went through that, but I'm glad you're here now." I smiled. Me too. Tom didn't try to fix me. He just stayed. That meant more than anything. One sunny afternoon, we walked by the river. The water was calm and birds flew low. He stopped walking and turned to me. "You're different," he said. "Different how?" I asked. "Stronger than most people I know." I looked down, then back at him. I didn't feel strong. "But you are," he said. I didn't reply, but his words stayed in my heart. We kept meeting, and slowly something new grew between us. It wasn't fast. It wasn't full of big words or big plans. It was gentle. It was quiet. And it was real. One night, I looked at myself in the mirror. My face looked calm. My eyes were clear. I touched my cheek and smiled. I didn't think about Caleb anymore. I didn't wait for his call. I didn't miss his voice. I was free, and not just free from him. I was free to feel again, to hope again, to love again. Tom once said, "Some people come into our lives to teach us something." I think Caleb did that. He taught me what love is not. And Tom, he didn't just show me what love could be. He reminded me who I am. Not a broken woman, just a woman who got up again.